Emma, how are you doing?
Pretty good.
Did your trip in go okay?
Yeah, I couldn't really figure out where to park, but hopefully my car won't get towed, so it'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure you're good. Our parking lot is kind of confusing, but it'll be all right. So my name's Amanda Durr, as we spoke earlier, and we're just going to talk a little bit about our policies here in this first session, kind of what I do, and then we'll talk a little bit about you towards the end. But mostly this is just to get to know the agency and how we run things.
Okay.
So I am obviously with the Promise Agency, and my job is to assist you in working on your goals and connecting you with resources in the community. Not so much focus on like a counselor, but more with connecting you so that way we can get some of your problems and issues worked out through other resources. That make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So first we're going to talk about the cost of my service. As we spoke about earlier, and you read in our informed consent, to Mizzou students, our services are free.
Great.
But along with that, since we are so busy and we do offer free services to students, our cancellation policy, I have to have at least 24, preferred 48 hours ahead of time if you're going to cancel.
Okay.
If we cancel even once, we'll give you twice. But since we don't meet very often, it's hard, since we do have so many students coming in and we are a free agency, to keep our services continued. So we try to meet all the time, but we'll really work around your schedule so that when we do meet, it's not really going to be an issue to cancel unless an emergency happens, which is understandable. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if I ever have to cancel, I'll totally let you know ahead of time. What is your preferred method being reached so I can let you know if something does come up?
My phone, you can just call, leave a message, like a voicemail. Usually I pick up my phone, but yeah, leaving a voicemail would be totally fine.
Okay, I'll make sure that we have your number correctly, so I can give you a call if anything does come up. Okay, and did you read about our grievance policy whenever you looked at our informed consent?
Yeah, I didn't really understand it super well though, so.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So what that is if we don't get along well, our social worker-client relationship isn't going well, or just I'm not able to provide you the services that you need and you feel that it's not working out, that's totally understandable. Not everybody works out together. And that just means you can go to my supervisor and they can either help me to get the resources that you need or fit you with a different social worker who would be more qualified with your issues. And it's, like I said, nothing personal. It's just, it's business. So that's what we have to do so that way we can get you taken care of.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah, thank you for explaining that.
Yeah, no problem. Okay. And along with that, next, we're going to talk about confidentiality. Pretty much everything that we talk about here is going to be confidential, but there are a few circumstances where I cannot keep everything between us. One of those would be I am a mandated reporter, so if I hear of anything that has regards to child or elderly abuse or neglect, then I am required to let somebody know so that way I can protect them as well. Okay. Also, I have a duty to warn, which means that if I thought that you were at risk to harm yourself or somebody else and you have the means to, then I am required to let law enforcement know or whatever agency that could prevent that, just so that way I can keep you safe or anybody that you interact with safe, because that is my number one priority here.
Yeah.
Another one that could cause a breach in our confidentiality is if anything went to court or there was a lawsuit, then a judge could require me to call me on stand, which obviously I would be under oath and have to tell the truth, or they could access my case notes, which I don't think that any of these are going to be an issue for us with what I've acquired so far of what you're here for, but I do have to let you know.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, awesome. So, would you like to tell me a little bit of why you're in here today?
Yeah. Yeah, I know we spoke a little bit earlier. This semester, I'm a sophomore at Mizzou. It's been kind of hard for me. I was originally enrolled in 15 hours, and I ended up I had to drop a class because I wasn't doing so well, just with keeping up with homework and keeping up with tests and everything. I've kind of been struggling with like coming up with the finances to like pay my rent and stuff. You like right now it's kind of tricky with like my parents and how they're like trying to help me pay for things. My parents have been divorced since I was like 10, and that's just their divorce was really hard, and it's I don't know, it's just like kind of been difficult recently with them trying to work out the finances of how they're paying for college. My mom's not really providing support for me right now, and my dad is unemployed. So I've been like trying to come up with tuition money, and then I've been trying to like work a job to like pay for the rent and just like paying for groceries, paying for gas. It's just like so much money, and as I'm like trying to like make all this money to like pay all these bills, sometimes I'm having to skip class and then I'm not wanting to do my homework as much, and so I'm kind of just falling behind, and I feel like at this point I like can't catch up right now.
Yeah, so it sounds like you have a lot on your plate right now, like including your education and then trying to work on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been really difficult to balance them both
Yeah.
and keep up with your financial issues.
Yeah, it's been really hard.
Okay, so you said you had to drop some classes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I came in as a nursing student, but the classes for that have been really difficult. And I was supposed to take a math class in order college algebra, but I failed it a couple of times already, and so I can't move on to take statistics. And so I had to. I finally got my college algebra grade from my summer class back, and because I failed it, I had to withdraw. I had to drop statistics. And so I had to drop that one, which is going to make it, I think my advisor told me I'll have to push back applying to nursing school another semester. And so lately I've kind of been thinking about maybe changing my major just because I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with the classes if it's already this hard and I'm not even in the program yet.
Yeah, and how is that making you feel since you have to put your financial duties ahead of your education, even though at your age you should really be focusing on your education, that your family isn't able to help you? How is that then?
It just feels really unfair. Like, I see a lot of other people around me who get to just like go to class all the time and they don't have to work because their parents pay for things. And it just seems to be like way easier for everyone else to like handle college, but things just feel so hard for me, and I just don't feel like my friends really or my roommates understand like how hard it is for me, and it's just been really difficult. So
Yeah, it seems like it's putting a lot on you, and you feel like you shouldn't have to have that responsibility. You should be enjoying your college experience.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you like to, do you feel comfortable telling me more about what's going on with your parents?
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Yeah, I can tell you. So my parents got divorced when me and my little brother were little. I have a little brother, by the way. Yeah, he's starting high school. But anyway, my parents were divorced. It was kind of a really ugly situation, actually. There was a lot of broken trust issues during their marriage, and just some infidelity on my dad and my mom's part. So they went to a marriage counselor. But what ended up and happened was my mom and the marriage counselor, they had an affair, and so that resulted in my parents getting a divorce. So that was really hard when that happened, and yeah, my mom, I like thought that she like cared about our family, but having her do that, I like don't really trust her at all anymore. And so like kind of the fallout of that, my mom like and I don't have a really good relationship. She kind of treats my little brother a lot better than she treats me, which has been kind of hard. And my dad, he kind of struggles with like being an alcoholic and stuff like that after they got divorced, and he's been going to AA, and I've like gone to like the meetings that they have for like children or like relatives of like individuals with alcoholism, and those have been like kind of helpful, but my dad has just kind of been back and forth like on and off the wagon so much. Can't really keep a steady job, and my parents, they both live in the same town, which is like can be like, that's nice for me, like when I go home and like if I decide to like, usually like when I go home on breaks, I like say hi to my dad and stuff. Like, but if I decide to like see my mom, like I can see them both there. But it's also kind of a struggle because like I feel like they just need more space in between them, just because things are really nasty. So.
Well, thank you so much for sharing. I think that we covered a lot of ground today, and we will meet again in about 2 weeks if that works.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that next time we'll focus more on prioritizing everything and start working on setting goals so we can move forward in our sessions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emma.